Right. Let me just double check. Make sure it is good to go. All right. Folks, we are live. Hello, good evening, and happy Monday, folks. Thank you so much for those who are tuning in and those who will be watching later. My name is Bonko, and I proudly serve as the 49th National President of Kappa Kappa Psi. And to all of our brothers, all of our honorees out there, happy Founders Day. As you all know, today is a very special day for the brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi as we are celebrating the 104th anniversary of the founding of KK Psi, a uniquely and special organization, brotherhood focused on serving college and university bands, and just overall our shared love for music. In addition, November is our month of musicianship, and so we are very excited for this very unique opportunity where we get the chance to meet the NIB conductor and composer for the 2025 National Convention. So you'll get to hear more from those individuals later, but it is my honor to hand things over to the National Vice Presidents for Professional Relations for Tau Beta Sigma and Kappa Kappa Psi, Dr. Webb and Dr. Lake. Thank you so much for setting this up. I'll go ahead and hand over the virtual mic to the both of you.
Hello and good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Latoya Webb, and I am the director of the Wind Orchestra at Wilfrid Laurier University, and of course, the vice president of professional relations for Tau Beta Sigma.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. William Lake Jr., Director of Concert Bands at the George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia, and I serve proudly as the Vice President for Professional Relations for Kappa Kappa Psi.
We are so honored and excited that you all have chosen to spend the evening with us, as you could have been anywhere else, but you're here checking in with us, or maybe you will check in later. So we'll just share a little bit about NIB, also known as the National Intercollegiate Band, which is one of the most exciting programs of Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma, begun nearly 70 years ago. This ensemble continues to make a significant contribution to the advancement of the collegiate band by providing performance opportunities and contributing new commission works to the concert band medium.
Auditions for the NIB are open to all qualified musicians, undergraduate and graduate, and we just want to make sure everyone understands that being a member of Kappa Kappa Psi or Tau Beta Sigma is not a requirement. We repeat, it is not a requirement. The NIB brings members face to baton with some of the most dynamically stimulating composers and respected conductors in the United States of America. Dr. F. Lee Bowling, Kappa Kappa Psi National President, Alpha Iota, from 1941 to 1947, is regarded as the founder of the National Intercollegiate Band. And so we'll dive right on into introducing our special guest this evening, Colonel Jason Fettig, soon to be retired Director of the United States Marine Corps Band, the President's Own. Now also Professor Fettig is the new Director of Bands at the University of Michigan.
Go Blue!
Under his baton, you're right on cue. Performances under his baton have occurred in 49 U.S. states, as well as Japan, the Czech Republic, Austria, and the Netherlands. Live concerts have been regularly heard on National Public Radio's Performance Today and national television broadcasts from the White House on The Today Show, The David Letterman Show, PBS, NBC, and CBS.
And we have the 2025 commissioning composer, my colleague and friend, Kevin Day, who is an internationally acclaimed composer, conductor, and jazz pianist, currently serving as an assistant professor of composition and the director of the Jazz Orchestra at Wilfrid Laurier University in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. He is an alumnus of Gamma Sigma chapter of Kappa Kappa Psi National Honorary Band Fraternity at Texas Christian University, TCU.
So we'll dive right into our questions. Happy Founders Day, Kevin, and happy first Founders Day, Jason. We're so excited to have with you, both of you all here with us today. Kevin, could you share with us your Kappa Kappa why? make sure that you, of course, give a shout out to your chapter and fellow membership candidates as well.
Wow. Well, it's an honor to get to be here, and I'm super excited to be the 2025 composer. I was a part of the NIB in 2017 playing Euphonium and representing the Gamma Sigma chapter as well. So shout out to everyone in Gamma Sigma at TCU. Go Frogs. And it's just an honor to get to be part of this. Kappa Kappa Psi was a huge part of my undergraduate time at TCU, and really shaped me into the person and to the composer that I am today. So to have the chance not to only play in the NIB, but now to get to write for it has become really a full circle moment, and I'm super excited to get to see what happens.
Awesome. Well, we're going to swing it over to Jason. So, we just spoke a little bit and we're all just, kind of chugging along here, getting to the end of this year. So I imagine that things have been quite busy for you lately as director of the President's own United States Marine Band and Chamber Orchestra and the new director of bands at the University of Michigan. Go! Could you share some of the things you have done over the past couple of months?
Well, the thing I did just recently was attend the game between Michigan and Ohio State on Saturday, which was my first game that I attended as the director of bands designate. So I picked a great one. I was super nervous that we weren't going to have a great outcome and then I would have jinxed it. And that would have followed me for my entire career at the University of Michigan. It's been wonderful. First of all, thank you very much for not only inviting me to this wonderful conversation with so many of my wonderful colleagues around the country and in Canada, but also for inviting me to be the conductor of the 2025 Intercollegiate Band. This is such a marvelous program, a marvelous ensemble that I've known about for many, many years and embedded in an incredible organization of these two national organizations. So I'm really thrilled to be joining the family, as it were. I am an honorary brother. I don't know if you guys knew that, but I was inducted in the University of Massachusetts chapter when I was back as a guest once, and I was really thrilled and honored to be a part of that. So this is a little bit of a circle moment for me too now to come and be a part of this wonderful festival. It's been a little bit busy. I'm finishing up my time as director of the Marine Band. I'm retiring in January, early January, but I'm done at Midwest. I will hand over the baton to my successor during our second concert at the Midwest Clinic. But I'm also getting ready for the winter term at Michigan. And so I'm effectively doing both jobs at the same time, the second one from afar, which has been a challenge. So I knew it was going to be a tricky transition, but what a thrill it's been to finish up my career with the Marines after 26 years and to be doing such wonderful things this year with my colleagues in the Marine Band and setting up this new life and this new relationship that I'll have with the faculty and the students at the University of Michigan. And I could not imagine going to a better place than that wonderful institution. So I'm just thrilled. I've just got to get through the next month and then put all of my energies behind my new responsibilities.
And I just have to add before I go into my next question for Kevin, Jason also has a wonderful, wonderful institution that also starts with the letter M that he and I share some of his educational sort of connectivity there, intersectionality, that's right across the Potomac. Go Terps.
Yes.
Just want to put that out there. There's a lot of Michigan things going on here, but I just need to make sure that we're thinking through equity and ensuring that all of the M's are represented in this call. Thank you so much. Okay, we digress. So, Kevin, we are excited about the 2025 National Intercollegiate Band in Lexington, Kentucky. Kevin, can you share with us your initial reaction to officially being asked to be the commission composer for the convention?
Yeah, it was really I was shocked. I mean, I was thrilled and just yeah, it really caught me by surprise, but it was something that I've always dreamed of being able to do, and so I didn't know whether or not that would happen maybe now or later, but it's an honor to truly get to be part of it and to kind of see where this journey will go. And I mean, it comes at a time right now where I am writing lots of music and have lots going on right now. Writing a ninth concerto at the moment for flute and wind ensemble, and then working on my first opera. And then now for this commission, I would like to make it my second symphony for wind band. So it's a time where just there's lots happening and lots of music to be written, and I'm excited to try my hand at this.
And we're excited for all of your wonderful ideas that we've come to love, and look forward to 2025.
Oh, yes, we cannot wait for this collaboration. And it starts right now with us on this call. So exciting. Jason, you are a highly sought after educator and clinician around the world. So what is your general approach to an event of this type, having students that are auditioning for band of the collegiate musician level nationwide?
Yeah. Well, every band like this, essentially an elite honor band, is different. And I do get to conduct a lot of high school ensembles and all-state ensembles, which is wonderful. But this is very special to conduct the National Intercollegiate Band, because these are talented collegiate musicians, advanced musicians from all over the country who specifically come to be a part of this community and be a part of this long-established festival. And it really is a festival in my mind, this idea of celebrating music together and celebrating these relationships that are formed across the country. But the goal always is the same, which is to try to make a connection as quickly as possible. Try to tap into that feeling of why we're all there together, to celebrate music, to celebrate new relationships, to get excited about what we work so hard at throughout the year. Every musician spends so much of their time and their energies and their emotion and their vulnerability getting good at their craft. And the reward is to be able to do it together, and to do it not only through established music that we all love, but what's so special about this is to do it through new music that was created specifically for them and for this gathering. And I'm probably getting ahead of myself, Dr. Webb, but I have to say that one of the things that I was so attracted to in accepting this invitation, not only the chance to conduct this nationally recognized band, but a chance to work with Kevin. And when I found out just recently that we were talking about his second symphony that he's planning to write for this group, I leapt up and down inside to be able to have a chance to premiere this major work of his, and to be able to share this with all of the students who will be a part of this band.
Beautiful. I mean, it's just lovely. Like, everyone should be doing cartwheels and backflips right now, because this is just so exciting.
Absolutely. Kevin, your music for wind band is truly unique. It brings together your unique musical intersections and experiences. For those who are new to your musical fingerprint, what are those influences and inspirations that we have come to expect from your music? And do you think we will get to hear any of those elements in your commission work?
Sure thing. I mean, where my music has been up to this point seems to revolve around rhythmic grooves. I love playing with rhythm. I love like doing cool things with that reference genres of music that I grew up with, from jazz to gospel to hip hop to all sorts of other things. And so groove and rhythm has been a big part of my music for a long time. And I think with that also being a jazz pianist, using jazz harmony and being able to use that in lots of my compositions has been, kind of what's been happening. I think with this piece though, I'm kind of wanting maybe to go in a different direction maybe than I had before, not necessarily relying on grooves, but sort of using it as the foundation for maybe something new that I haven't tried before. And so I think that's, and once again, I don't know what this piece is going to be yet. I haven't began on it, but I'm already kind of getting ideas a little bit up here. But I think that is what's going to be the foundation for this piece. I also know with this being this particular commission for Kappa Kappa Psi and TBS, I know one of the movements in the symphony will pay homage to my own fraternity brother from the Gamma Sigma chapter who we lost earlier this year, Mr. Ivan Tariquez. And so I know one of the movements will be an homage to him, as that's what's been on my mind for the last several months as well. So we'll just kind of see where this work evolves and where it goes. But I'm really excited about it. And I can't wait to try some new things as well.
Kevin, that's so exciting. And for those of us that know you and have come to know you through your music, there's this unique sense of authenticity that just leaps off of the page. And I think I'm so excited to not only experience just whatever is on your heart and your mind, but also to travel through some of your lived experiences that we all can find some way to connect to. I think it's going to be truly magical. So the more we talk about it, it's like, can we hurry up and get to 2025 like now?
Yes, yes.
We're not going to rush anything. We'll let it germinate. We'll let it sit and simmer. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jason. So you have programmed many of works by Kevin for Marine concerts. So what has led you to choose Kevin's music for the President's Own and other ensembles? And for any directors that may be watching, why should they check out Kevin's works?
Well, I think one of the things that Kevin just said says a lot, which is that his music is personal. His music speaks to his own experience. It speaks to things that he loves and that he is passionate about. I think the best music from any composer is a music that tells a personal story and that is authentic and it is genuine to who they are as a human being. And I think players respond to that. Conductors respond to that. Audiences respond to that. They feel that this isn't something that you hang on the wall. This is a life story, and this is a personal connection. And so just hearing him talk about his brother, his Kappa Kappa Psi brother, and wanting to keep his memory alive through a movement in this symphony is going to be very special to share with the players of the band. And Kevin will share that with them, and I will make sure that it comes through in our performance as well. The other thing that I love about Kevin's music is what he talked about, just the vitality of it. If I were to describe myself as a conductor, I would say that I'm primarily, or first and foremost, a rhythmic conductor. I feel rhythmic energy probably first among all the things I feel as a physical musician. And so I'm drawn to composers who also have that as part of their essence, part of what lights them up. And so I've always been drawn to Kevin's music for that reason. And I've really enjoyed performing it in that way because I feel like I understand what he's going for. I hope, Kevin, that I understand what you intend and that I can do it justice from the podium. Even though the stick doesn't make any sound, I pretend like it does. And my wonderful musicians and colleagues bring it to life. So I can tell that what we're going to get for this symphony is going to be special. And I'm excited also to hear, Kevin, you talk about trying some new things, because I do think the mark of a great musician is to take what they love and what they know and then press it in different directions and stretch themselves. And you've clearly done that through your work so far. And if this becomes another landmark moment in your continuing evolution as a composer, then I'm thrilled to be a part of that moment.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting, Jason, that you mentioned rhythm, because I also feel like this really, rhythmic driven energy as a conductor, but we're also clarinetist.
Yes.
And so we're used to having a lot of, notes on our pages. So, maybe there's something there, Jason. I don't know.
I feel the connection, Dr. Webb. I feel like we've got the clarinet vibes going. Absolutely.
It's absolutely wonderful. And we know that Kevin likes to write a lot of notes. For those of us,
yes,
regardless if it's grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. I just told one of my students today, like, you're cruising along, it's like, oh, this is a nice grade 3 piece. And then there's like 2 measures where you're like, oh gosh, like, got to really dig in. But we love that about you, Kevin. You keep us on our toes. And there's one thing about your music, regardless if it's written for the professional level, or even I'm thinking of Rocket Ship and like Dancing Fire and Havana. I mean, and Jason, you alluded to this, like audiences love it, like the ensemble loves it so well. it becomes an actual living sort of vibe that we really get from that. And I definitely see that connection even when someone gets to know you personally. So we are excited for the students and for our audience in Lexington for 2025 for sure. Kevin, this next question is for you. Brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi and Sisters of Tau Beta Sigma are called to serve college bands locally and beyond. How does the National Intercollegiate Band fulfill this mission in your eyes?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a chance for all of us to come together and to share, what we love, what brings us all together, and to get to share that with each other and also with the audience that will be in attendance. And so, yeah, it's a huge part of the mission that we have, and to share the musicianship that we have, and to be able to to put on this concert and this conference is going to be really amazing. And I'm really excited to be surrounded by that once more. And since, I mean, being in the NIB in 2017 was a really impactful moment for me. I made a lot of friends during that time, and I still keep in touch with a lot of them. And so to be back in that kind of atmosphere is going to be really wonderful.
Yeah, and I guess I would like to kick this off also to Jason, like thinking about the service mission of the Marine Band, and this is a fraternity that serves bands in the college band movement. Where do you find this where's the sort of collaborative mission in between those sort of what we're all working on, and like what your ensemble does and what the fraternity, what you've come to know, accomplishes as well?
No, there's a huge crossover between the life and the culture that I've absorbed in the Marine Corps and what I see from KK Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. I saw it in college as well from the brothers and sisters that I went to school with. Just this idea of trying to provide opportunities for everyone to be their best selves. And that's not just about music. It's about leadership. It's about community. It's about empathy. It's about communication. It's every aspect of what helps us be professionals and helps us be better colleagues with each other. It's all about service. It's as long as we're doing okay, then our charge is to make sure everybody else is doing okay as well. To lift everybody up around us and to give them opportunities and experiences that are going to help them be better. And so the NIB, the conference, the service work that both organizations do is doing exactly that. It is providing opportunities for everyone, whether they are brothers and sisters or not, to be their best selves and to have an experience with people they don't know, people who can inspire them, people who can help them grow, and people who they can help grow as well. One of the things I'm excited about when I come to places like this is not only to meet a bunch of people that I haven't had a chance to meet and work with, but to see what I can learn that week, see what I can learn through the experiences of people that I'm meeting for the first time, and through their perspective and through what lights them up and what they love is often very inspirational to me. And it helps me go back to work feeling more energized than when I came. So I'm really excited about that opportunity to form new relationships and to celebrate music together and to be in a space where everyone wants to be there. Everyone is making an effort to be together, and through great, in some cases, great sacrifice or great efforts to do it. So we want to make sure those of us who are partially in charge of this, that we make good on that promise to make it a great experience for them.
Well, that's really nice, Jason. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Jason, conductors and composers are often very busy, which leaves little time to collaborate in some cases. Sometimes composers may not engage with the conductor and the performing ensemble until a couple of days before, the live performance. So since we have, the both of you here, and this is the beginning of this, brilliant, magical, marvelous collaboration, what kind of collaboration process are you looking to have with Kevin to make sure that things are looking great for the 2025 NIB?
Well, first of all, I want Kevin to write the piece that he wants to write. If he comes to this experience with a symphony that he feels is some of his best work to date and really says something new, and he's excited to share it with the musicians who will bring it to life, then I'll be thrilled. So Kevin, you need to know that as far as I'm concerned, I want you to write the symphony that's in your heart and that you're ready to write. After that, the process is really important to me. You're right that sometimes it's hard to get together, but every composer whom I've commissioned and where we have been given the premiere, I have worked really hard to collaborate with them as early as possible. Once I get the score, to truly understand what the score says, what they're trying to say, to make sure that it's going to sound the way that they think it will sound, so that we can have that conversation and talk about orchestration, talk about some formal things to just 100% be sure that we're going to bring this to life the way it was intended. And my responsibility as a conductor, and I do not compose, so I consider myself 100% an interpreter, is when I'm dealing with a living composer, is to do a far less interpreting and far more realizing the vision, trying to understand exactly what this should sound like, and doing everything I can to bring that to fruition. So Kevin and I will talk a lot, I think, over the next year once he starts writing, or a year from now. And I hope I'll get some little samples and get some previews, and then we can chat about what we can do to make sure that that performance is as close to what is happening in your mind and your heart as we can.
Amazing.
Love it.
Kevin, can you share with us some of your most memorable service project or service project events from your active membership days?
Oh, I have to think. Wow. We did so much. Yeah, I have to think about this. Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things we used to do that I loved was when it would get really cold in the winter, we would provide hot chocolate and cookies like for everyone who came into our school of music. And so we would put that together, and then there would be points where we would also sing carols and all that, and walk around our campus, and would make people happy. So we're getting to that time of the year where it's it's the holiday season. So I can always remember us doing that and being of service to our TCU community.
And cold in Texas is like 55 degrees, right?
Oh no, it gets into the 30s. There was
Ooh, the 30s. Oh my gosh.
Right.
I'm in Canada now, and it's like, oh no, that's not cold at all. Not cold at all.
Awesome.
Well, I'm going to kick it over to Jason, because I'm also a little interested in just wanting to know about your most memorable service project with the United States Marine Band.
Yeah, thank you, Latoya. I think about, as we talked about in the previous question, I think about service a lot. And I especially think about it a lot because I've written a lot of service statements lately for reasons you can guess. Just trying to codify and define, the root of service and what it means and what qualifies as service and what doesn't. And in our case, the educational component of what the Marine Band does, all of the educational outreach, is not technically a part of our mission. It has always been something the Marine Band and the musicians have done, but it has grown exponentially over the last 20 years. Part of that's because a lot of educators have been at the helm of the band. I have a music ed degree, fully intended to be an educator before I accidentally won the Marine Band audition. And my successor, Ryan Nallen, is a 10-year high school band director, a really deeply talented and passionate educator still, and he's going to continue to bring that aspect out of the band. So what I remember most is, because it's recent, is during the pandemic. I remember when the pandemic hit and schools shut down, colleges shut down across the country. It immediately became apparent to me that our teachers, our colleagues, were going to need something to help inspire the kids, to help give them some tools and to revamp their curriculum online, which is insane to think about what all of you did during that time, and all of our educators across the country. So I talked to my colleagues. I said, we have to step up. We've got to put ourselves a little bit at risk and start to come up with some programs that are going to put out content on a regular basis and ramp it up so that we can provide a service to as many teachers as we can. So we took some of our existing programs and we digitized them, we transformed them, we took some of the other things we had been doing like March Mania and we expanded it and put out additional learning tools, additional lesson plans that we could pair with that. We started the digital rehearsal hall series where I got my colleagues together and we would just tape rehearsals just on some repertoire that we were familiar with, some repertoire that we weren't so familiar with. And the idea was to just connect with people and not talk into a box, but try to make it as personal as we could and as real as we could. And we scheduled thousands of meetings with our musicians and classrooms and individual students and teachers for professional development all across the country. I am so proud of my colleagues for donating their time and putting themselves to some degree at risk to get together, to put that stuff together during the pandemic when most people were home for the better part of a year. And I'm so happy to know that it made a difference. I talk to teachers all over the country, and every time I go to Midwest or I go on tour, I hear from educators who say, thank you so much for putting that material up because it was really a godsend in some ways. I wouldn't have known that unless they told me. And the best part, I mean, you don't serve to get gratitude, but when you serve and you know you're doing the right thing and also you feel that gratitude, it's such a win-win situation. That's the one good thing that came out of the pandemic for me was pushing us to think differently about how we can reach each other and what we can do for each other when we have the resources to do so. And in the Marine Band, we have a lot of resources, and it would be terrible if we didn't use those resources for good in every single way we can think of. And to us, that's the service part that's kind of in our blood as Marines and as Marine Band members.
Thank you. Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, we are very grateful. And I'm sure, like you said, people came to you and sent emails and things like that. We're all very grateful for all these efforts during such a difficult and lonely time for everyone, and hope that these services will continue, and just the relationships, as you mentioned earlier, about what it is that we do in this music profession. So thank you so much. So I'm still with you, Jason.
Okay.
We already know that this is going to be a magical NIB collaboration with you and Kevin. It's already started. So what would you say to students considering participating in NIB in the future? Let's ramp them up.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've heard the conversation, the opportunity first and foremost to get together with musicians who are as excited and passionate about their craft as you are. For students who spend time with the same peer group a lot, that's wonderful in developing those relationships, but you grow so much by spending time and being vulnerable in front of people who you don't know, and exercising that muscle of creating together and getting excited about new energy that you can only get with new people sometimes. So I'm new to many of the musicians who will come for the NIB. Kevin will be new. His music will be new for many of them. So there's two experiences right there that I promise you'll get a triple, quadruple dose of our energy, for better or for worse. I can already tell with the work I've done with Kevin that both he and I think will work very well together, and we will be all in. I mean, we're going to give everything we have to this weekend and to the rehearsals and the many hours of rehearsals, and we're gonna push the musicians hard, but in a loving way, in a way that's going to get them in a place where they're executing what they're capable of doing, maybe even going beyond what they think they're capable of doing as a group, and hopefully coming away with an experience and a memory that will last for every member for the rest of their lives, not only because of the people they meet, but hopefully what they'll feel at the end of that process and sharing that music, that program, and Kevin's new symphony with so many people.
Gotcha. We received a quick question from our Vice President of Programs, Mr. Miller, who's here. And I'll sum up sort of what his thoughts are, which I think are really great. Both of you in the role of conductor and composer in this role have a huge, not only responsibility for a wonderful concert and a wonderful premiere, But one thing I think of as an educator always is who in the room is being inspired by, or who am I sent in this moment to do my job so darn well that they are then inspired to become a better version of me, in their own sort of quest. And so for both of you, as you think about the importance of mentors, could you maybe highlight who some of those people are for you, and sort of the heaviness of the crown of what you both do in different ways, realizing that there's so many eyes and so many people who are taking so much away from the place and the space that you occupy. So I guess we'll go maybe Kevin and then Jason.
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, there's many mentors that come to mind, but in terms of being a composer, there's two who, had I not known these two people, um, and had I not seen them just do what they do, I would not be who I am today. One of those people is William Owens, who is a composer and conductor from, well, he currently lives in Fort Worth, Texas, but he was my sixth grade all city band conductor. So I was a euphonium player in his band as a sixth grader. And so it was the first time for me where I got to see someone, who looks like me being able to do, like, to play their own music and to conduct, their own music as well. And so as a sixth grader, I was like, okay, I want to be like him one day. And then many years later, the other person I met who changed my life was Omar Thomas, who encouraged me to just write and be who I am, and do that unapologetically and authentically. So I think had I not met those two people, I'm not sure I would be doing what I do now.
So
I think Kevin's story about his two wonderful mentors, William and Omar, carries a similar foundation to what a mentor, I think, does for us. I think there's two things a mentor does for us. One is it encourages us to do things for the right reason, to get into music because we truly have something to say and we love it, and that it can move us and move other people, and it can do that for the rest of your life. And to not be apologetic for that, not doubt that, but to know it beyond a shadow of a doubt and to feel it every day. And the other thing that a mentor has to do for us is to let us know that we can do it, that to validate our ability to go there. And even when you look at it and you think, well, geez, there's a lot of talented people in the world, I don't know if I'm qualified to give you that extra push to say, well, you'll never know until you get out there and you start doing it. And I believe in you. And so my mentors, no surprise, were all band directors. But same thing. My first great mentor that really changed my life was my high school band director, David Bresnahan, who was such a passionate teacher, and not only gave me opportunities to grow as a musician, but pushed me and showed me, modeled for me what vulnerability looked like, what emotion looked like in music making. And as a teenager, it's really hard to tap into that, I think. And he helped me do that, and that helped me decide to go into music education. My college band director, Bill Rowell, pushed me very hard as well, and kind of a tough fatherly love where he wasn't quick to praise, but it was one of those mentors when you did get praised by him, it meant a lot. And that was something that turned into a lifelong friendship for us. And I still talk to Bill this day. When I auditioned for the Marine Band as a conductor, I flew to Massachusetts and I worked with him, and I needed him to tell me that I could do it. And he did. And then I went back and I won that audition. And I credit a lot of that to Bill's influence. And then the most recent mentor was the gentleman who was the director of the Marine Band 2 directors ago, and who chose me to be a conductor in the Marine Band with no professional experience as a conductor at that time. I was a professional clarinetist, which was something, but I was just a ball of potential. And Tim Foley, Colonel Tim Foley, the 26th director of the band, he saw something in me. He not only selected me and gave me that opportunity, but he supported me through thick and thin. He supported me when I made mistakes early on in my career as a leader, as a conductor, as a musician. And to this day, he is one of my biggest fans, and he'll send me emails and texts and calls. And you would think that I don't need that encouragement at this point in my career, but we all do. We all have imposter syndrome. We all worry we're not good enough. We all worry that we've lost something or we have a gap in our ability that's gonna expose us. And so to have people you respect greatly and you trust and who you know have your back for the right reasons to tell you that you're doing okay and to sing your praises and to encourage you, it's irreplaceable, that energy in all of our careers. And so if we in our current professions can be that for someone else and can help inspire the next generation through either direct mentorship or just modeling and being an example, then that's what we're all here for. So I know we're all excited to jump into that opportunity and give everything we can to that.
Wow, that was great. That was really, really wonderful. And I'm just glad that we're able to record these wonderful conversations and to preserve them. There's so much in all of the nuggets that you all have shared for music educators, music performers, but even those of us who maybe work tangential to, that space and whatever we do, realizing that there's such a responsibility to sort of pay it back, in how we sort of pay it forward to other people. So President Coe, I don't know if there are any other questions that have come in the chat by any means or anything. No?
Just no questions. Really more so just praise and excitement and just folks looking forward to this collaboration, this partnership. So there's just lots of love. So I hope that after this call, y'all can go to our Facebook page, look at the live stream and see all the loving comments.
Well, Dr. Webb, do you have any final questions? I feel like the last question that we have prepared has already been sort of surmised in some of the other things that we've talked about, or any of our other colleagues who are joining us in the Zoom space.
I might jump on and say something because I think Bong asked me to say this on the side. I'm beating Marina and Daniel to it. So I guess one of the things that maybe, and hopefully I'm not stealing y'all's thunder, but if you really want to support the NIB, it's one of our greatest projects as a fraternity. And there's a lot of ways that our members can support it, either as an active member or especially to our alumni membership. And so kind of there's two really great ways to do this. And one is by giving money to the Stan Fink Fund. The Stan Fink Fund is a joint fund between Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma. And that goes to support the amazing work that our wonderful colleagues on the line do. And it helps endows and create a future for the National Intercollegiate Band. And so it's kind of one of the best ways to give back. It's kind of one of the really kind of philanthropies of Kappa Kappa Psi, for lack of a better word. And then something that maybe a lot of people might not realize, but you have two former chairs of the Alumni Association on this call and one current chair of the Alumni Association. And if one of the things you want to do is support the student performers of the National Intercollegiate Band, you can do that through the Match Mitchell grant program. And so this is a program that is administered by the Alumni Association, and you'll hear more about it. And it aims to create involvement amongst our local alumni associations to give scholarships to NIB performers. One of the amazing things about being in the NIB is we do help get you there and we help defray a lot of those costs, but we don't, as an organization, we are not able to defray 100% of those costs or offset them. So these grants are aimed at making sure people have meals, money for meals, and kind of that miscellaneous travel expenses that we all know happens across this. So that's one of those things, like, I'm jazzed, pun maybe intended, maybe not intended, for our 2025 NIB, and I hope y'all are too. And especially for our alumni members who might be listening on the call, I want to shout out those two great ways to support this program as well.
Thank you so much for adding those really, really important points in our dialogue. And again, I think that's one of the awesome things about Kappa Kappa Psi and Tau Beta Sigma is that we all can pitch in to lift the heavy work that has to be done, that we all believe in. And your charitable giving, on which tomorrow would be Giving Tuesday, after you have given your money to Black Friday and to Cyber Monday, it's time to bring it to the house of both Tau Beta Sigma and Kappa Kappa Psi. We really would appreciate your support. We take care of all of the expenses of our conductor as well as composer as well. So your gifts are going to art, and that's really, really exciting. And so you can feel as if though you can share in on a piece of that for sure. Any other questions from our colleagues? Yeah, President Coe.
Well, I want to make sure there's space, Marina and Daniel, if you have any questions. If not, I'll jump in with mine. No?
I just wanted to say, you know, we've been talking a lot about Kappa Kappa Psi, and it's our Founders Day, but I did want to thank all the Sisters of Tau Beta Sigma because this is a joint project and we only get it done together. So I just wanted to make that comment. Thank you, Jason, and thank you, Kevin, for sharing so much today.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you to all of our sisters out there for their support as well. So this question is for Dr. Webb and Dr. Lake. What are you most excited for when it comes to this whole process? Because, you know, I can feel your excitement, but you know, there's some time between now and NatCon in 2025. Like, what are you most excited for?
Dr. Webb, go first.
Well, I mean, you can't get any better than this. I mean, it's so exciting. Like we're here at the beginning of the process, and just to see the vision and the journey all the way through is what I'm most excited about. I'm always excited, you know, working with NIB and making the experience for the all involved, you know, welcoming, inclusive, and fun, and just memorable. As Jason mentioned a little earlier, like that's what I'm really excited about, this collaboration, just being in the know and maybe having secrets and, you know, other things that people don't know about what's going on between this little collab. Like that's what I'm excited about. So I just can't wait, you know, for NIB 2025 in Lexington, Kentucky. Like, let's go.
Thank you, Dr. Webb. I appreciate that energy. Dr. Lake, what about you? What are you most excited for?
I kind of echo the same. I really am excited to create the space for the art to happen, and to realize that in all of the planning and the conversations and the logistics and all those things that, you know, someone has to help put the things together so that way, you know, Kevin's piece can do it what it does, and Jason can do what it does, and everyone can sort of show up. And I think Jason said before, like making sure that everyone can be their best selves in the experience. I think I'm really excited about that. And Dr. Webb and I have plenty of things up our sleeves in how we're trying to enhance the NIB experience in different ways that maybe have been thought of or dreamt of before, but we're trying to maybe make them tangible in certain ways. And so I love having a counterpart like Dr. Webb, who's not only a dreamer, but a doer. So like we will be on the phone staring at the wall and come up with like 16 ideas and then go, oh my God, like let's make it happen. This is going to be awesome. And it's sort of like what Kevin and Jason are having. Like there's going to be a new work that maybe it works. We guess it works. Hopefully it works. So there's like this sort of weird sort of space of just imagination, SpongeBob, and just excitement that I think is just great. And realizing that this is an aspect of history, you know, that this becomes part of not only the legacy of both of our organizations, but the impact that it can have on just the band world itself. We're really thinking about how do we go to Lexington and impact the arts ecosystem of that area. We're bringing such great talent, professor and professor, and these great folks and all of what they are. It's sort of like, how can we have this social impact because of the art that sort of reverberates even after we've gone. And so we're really excited about how do we do that, and how can we do that in such little time, and all those kind of things that that becomes really exciting, I think, for me. And I feel like it's great work. It's ways that I can continue to serve an organization that has meant and given so much to me. And I'm sure Dr. Webb would say the same thing. And be able to provide that experience for the next Kevin or the next, you know, Jason, who's in the ensemble, that 10 years from now is like, hey, oh my God, I never thought we would have been here. But it was this experience that sort of inspired us to go on our respective artistic journeys.
Absolutely. That was incredibly powerful. So, I mean, thank you for your responses, Dr. Leck and Dr. Webb. It's been a busy time. My one brain cell that's working in overtime right now, it's like was trying to get all of that in. And truly, I mean, my heart is just, I'm so excited for this process, this partnership, and just overall the journey that we're going to have with everyone here. And I think this may be the new hand signal for NIB, maybe. No? Okay. Well, we'll think about it. I have no other questions, but I know that there may be some call to action, some last things before we do a closeout. Dr. Webb, Dr. Lake, either.
I'll start. Practice. Folks, go practice, become amazing, so that way you can play this wonderful new work that will be premiered. If you know Kevin's music, like those of us that have been around it, you might need your fingers really rolling. So like
you're gonna have to practice is the key, right?
Let's get into these scales, people. Get into these scales. Like get into the scales.
Triple tonguing. all the things, okay? You might want to go sit in a jazz band class, just going in there.
And you might want to quick clarinet as quickly as possible. I have a feeling. So I'm joking, clarinet players. Keep going. We need you.
Yes.
Yeah, brass players bring the heat, because Kevin's music just is very it goes there, and I'm sure that it will. But we really need a lot of folks. We really want to make this experience open to everyone. So please put your best self forward, and just be thinking about when you see the call for the respective videos. If you have made the ensemble before, try, come back for another round, or if you didn't in a biennium before, definitely try again, because we really love the opportunity to really have our whole country represented in this ensemble as much as possible. Dr. Webb?
Absolutely. And again, practice. That's important there. Practice. So we hope that many undergraduate and graduate musicians will consider auditioning for the 2025 NIB. Again, being a member of KK Psi or TBS is not a requirement, and so that's something that we just really want to stress heavily, and share amongst your peers and band directors. If you're on this call watching right now or later, please stress to your students the importance and just this opportunity that they will have. More information on auditions will come out in the fall semester of 2024. And in the meantime, musicians, Kappa Kappa Psi and TBS chapter members and directors of bands can visit the NIB website at nibkkytbsonline.com to review the 2023 audition process. As much of that information will remain the same. And you can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at National Intercollegiate Band to receive all updates. And again, please share this information with your peers, your colleagues, and students.
And we just want to say, what are the benefits of participating? One, performing under the direction of distinguished conductor, Professor Jason Fettig. Two, participating in the 2025 NIB. You've got a world premiere by renowned composer, Pulitzer Prize, nominee. Thank you for that word, Kevin. I wanted you to have it. I'm just telling you that I was rooting for you so hard. And just know that we're going to keep making great art. You're going to keep making great art. Kevin Day, and also meeting and performing with many collegiate musicians from various backgrounds from across the nation and various institutions represented. And becoming part of the time-honored tradition of excellence that is known as the National Intercollegiate Band. So those are all of the big hit points. You definitely don't want to miss out. We want to see you in Lexington in 2025.
Fantastic. I think it's my cue to close us out then. Is that correct? Okay, fantastic. Well, Professor Jason Fettig and Professor Kevin Day, thank you both so very much for joining us, making this time. We know that you are both so very busy and so very tired as we're nearing the end of 2023. But thank you so much for making this day even more special for Brothers of Kappa Kappa Psi, and then jointly for TBS and KK Psi, the celebration of music, the thing that has all brought all of us to these organizations and have bonded us and kept us together as a brotherhood and sisterhood. And if I could share some love and appreciation for our NVPPRs as well, Dr. Webb and Dr. Lake, for doing this. I mean, I think once this biennium started, even before it started, they were brainstorming, having ideas, hitting us up, blowing up our phones, wouldn't leave us alone, wouldn't give us a break. And they had all the ideas, they had all the things to say. So thank you to Dr. Lake and Dr. Webb for all that you do as well. All right, brothers, happy Founders Day, happy 104. Again, as we celebrate 104, celebrate each other more as we march towards 105. Let's continue to strive. To all of our sisters, thank you for your support. To all those who are tuning in, just thank you for your love of music and your love for KK Psi and TBS. All right, everyone, have a great night, and the work continues tomorrow. I'm going to end the live stream.